Kyle had traveled far beyond the familiar stars of his home. His ship glided silently through the vast darkness of space, the engines humming softly beneath his feet. He had visited many planets in his career, but none had felt as mysterious or as intimidating as the one he was approaching now. It was the world of Solara, the alien queen whose name echoed in every corner of the galaxy. Stories of her wisdom, power, and beauty reached even the distant human colonies. Few humans had seen her, and none had ever dared approach her personally. Kale's mission was simple, at least on paper: deliver a diplomatic message from the Human Council and observe the culture of Solara's empire. Yet Kale felt a different kind of excitement, a nervous anticipation. He did not only admire her as a ruler, he felt a strange pull, an unexplainable curiosity that went beyond protocol. Something in the tales he had read hinted at not only her intelligence but her depth, a mind that could understand even a human's thoughts. The spaceport was bustling when Kale's ship landed. Alien merchants moved through the crowd. Their forms varied and strange to human eyes. Some had glimmering scales, others moved on multiple legs, and a few floated just above the ground. The air shimmered with the scent of exotic plants and the sound of voices that were both musical and harsh. Kale adjusted his uniform, straightened his back, and stepped onto the platform. Every eye seemed to watch him, and he felt both out of place and curiously alive. An aide led him through a corridor of polished crystal. The walls reflected alien symbols that pulsed faintly, glowing with soft light. At the end of the corridor, he was ushered into a grand hall. There, seated on a throne of shining metal and crystal, was Solara. Even from a distance, Kale could feel her presence. Her posture was perfect, regal, yet her eyes were alive with curiosity, scanning the room and finally settling on him. Kale's heart beat faster. He reminded himself to remain calm. "This is a diplomatic mission," he muttered under his breath. He bowed deeply as he approached. "Your Majesty, I am Kale, representing the Human Council." Solara inclined her head slightly. Her voice was melodic yet commanding when she spoke. "Kale, welcome. Your people have told many tales of bravery, but bravery alone does not bring one here. What is it that you seek?" Kale hesitated. He had rehearsed words of diplomacy, phrases that would sound respectful and formal. But as he looked into her eyes, he felt the rehearsed words falter. There was an intensity there, a depth he had never seen in any other ruler. And before he could stop himself, the words left his mouth. I wish to marry you." The hall seemed to pause. Even the lights seemed to dim in that instant. Kale's face burned with embarrassment. He realized what he had said, how bold and reckless it sounded, yet he felt no regret. The words were true, and his heart could not speak in half measures. Solara remained still. Her eyes studied him, sharp and penetrating, as if she were seeing not just his appearance, but the entirety of his being. For a moment, Kale wondered if he had made the gravest mistake of his life. Then, slowly, she rose from her throne. Her form moved with elegance, almost like liquid silver in motion. She walked toward him, each step deliberate, and stopped just a few meters away. Kale could feel her presence more acutely now, the sheer force of her personality, her intelligence, and her authority pressing on him like a gentle but unyielding tide. "Kyle," she said softly, yet every word resonated in the hall. "You have said something that no human has ever dared to say to me." "Why?" Kyle swallowed hard. "Your Majesty, I have traveled across the stars. I have seen the beauty of worlds, and I have learned the wisdom of many beings, but nothing has moved me like you. Not your throne, not your empire, but you. I respect your mind, your strength, and the care you show for your people. I do not ask lightly. I do not ask without knowing the weight of what I say. But if you would allow, I wish to share my life with you." Solara tilted her head. Her expression softened slightly, though her eyes remained sharp. She was clearly considering him, weighing the human's words. Kyle felt his heart pounding in his chest. He had expected her to laugh, to dismiss him, to see his words as naive. Yet she had not. She was listening, truly listening. After a long pause, Solara spoke again. "Kyle, many come before me seeking power, seeking position, seeking wealth. You have offered none of these. Instead, you offer something rare. But words alone do not suffice." Kale's stomach twisted. He had expected some kind of challenge, some test, but the weight of her gaze made him nervous. I understand, Your Majesty. I will accept whatever test you deem necessary." Solara's lips curved into a faint smile. "Good. You will face trials, Kale. Trials not of strength alone, not of cunning alone, but trials that will reveal your heart. Only then will I know whether your desire is worthy. Kale nodded, determination filling him. I am ready. Solara raised her hand and a holographic map of her homeworld appeared before them, glowing in soft blue light. Your first trial begins at the Labyrinth of Echoes. There you must navigate its paths and find the jewel of insight. It is not merely a test of memory, but of understanding, of empathy. Many have entered and failed. Few have emerged changed. You must prove your mind and your heart are one. Kyle's eyes widened as he studied the map. The labyrinth looked impossible, a twisting maze that seemed to move as if alive. I will not fail, Your Majesty. Solara's smile deepened. I hope not. Remember, Kale, this is more than a trial of intelligence. The labyrinth responds to intentions, to character. It will reveal the truth of who you are. Be honest and it will guide you. Be deceitful and it will mislead you. Understand this and you may succeed. Kyle felt a chill, a mixture of fear and excitement. He realized that this was not a challenge he could conquer with brute force or clever tricks. He would have to rely on every bit of his humanity, his courage, his empathy, his ability to remain calm and true to himself. The aide who had escorted him now spoke. Your vessel awaits, Kale. You will depart immediately for the labyrinth. Kale took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. He was about to step into a test designed by the greatest ruler in the galaxy, a ruler who had seen countless beings and judged them without error. And yet he felt a spark of hope. He had spoken from his heart, and that truth gave him strength. As he walked toward his ship, Kale cast one last glance at Solara. She watched him silently, her expression unreadable. Yet there was a flicker of something, a hint of curiosity, perhaps even respect. He could not tell, but he carried that moment with him as he climbed aboard his vessel. The engines roared to life, and the ship lifted into the stars. The labyrinth awaited him, a place of mystery and challenge, but Kale felt ready. He understood that this journey was not just for him, but for the connection he sought with Solara. Every choice, every decision in the labyrinth would bring him closer, or farther, from the possibility of standing beside the alien queen as her equal. And as the stars stretched into lines of light around him, Kale whispered to himself, I will not fail, not for duty, not for glory, but for her. The journey had begun. Kyle's ship moved swiftly through the atmosphere of Solara's planet. Outside the window, the landscape stretched in breathtaking vistas. Glimmering forests that shimmered with bioluminescent plants, rivers that flowed like liquid crystal, and mountains that reached into clouds tinged with colors humans had no names for. Every sight reminded him of the vastness of the galaxy and the responsibility he carried. This journey was more than a mission. It was a path toward something far greater. The labyrinth awaited. Known as the Labyrinth of Echoes, it was said to be alive in a way that was impossible to understand. Legends spoke of beings who entered confident and skilled, only to emerge confused, humbled, or forever changed. But Kale was not deterred. He had a simple plan. Stay true to himself and keep his intentions pure. As his ship landed on a smooth stone platform, a soft mist rolled over the entrance to the labyrinth. The walls rose high, carved with intricate alien patterns that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. It was a place of challenge and reflection, designed to test not only the mind but the heart. Kyle stepped out carefully, feeling the cool mist against his skin. He could hear faint echoes around him, voices that seemed to whisper his name, his thoughts, and even his fears. He clenched his fists, remembering Solara's words. The labyrinth responds to intentions. It will reveal the truth of who you are. The first path split into 3. Each corridor looked equally complex, with glowing symbols that pulsed in rhythm with some unseen energy. Kale studied them carefully. He realized that each symbol represented a choice, not just a direction. One corridor glowed softly in blue light, another shimmered with green energy, and the last flickered with gold. He chose the blue corridor. It felt calm and inviting, and instinct told him this was the path aligned with honesty. The walls seemed to hum faintly, as if acknowledging his decision. The mist thickened, and suddenly the path changed. The floor shifted beneath his feet, creating a moving puzzle. Kale had to step carefully, balancing on stones that rose and fell with subtle precision. One misstep could send him back to the beginning. Kyle focused. He reminded himself to breathe, to observe the patterns, and to act with both caution and confidence. Slowly, he made his way forward, each step bringing him deeper into the labyrinth. Voices whispered questions now, probing his mind. Why do you seek her? Are you worthy? Would you remain true if others opposed you? Kale paused and answered silently. I seek her because I respect her. I am not here for glory, not for power, not for wealth. I am here for truth and connection. The whispers softened, almost approvingly. The labyrinth seemed to respond, guiding him to a chamber bathed in soft light. At the center floated a small crystal, the jewel of insight. Its glow was mesmerizing, shifting through every color of the spectrum. Kale approached it carefully. As he reached out, visions appeared before him. His childhood, his journey through space, moments of courage and fear, moments of kindness and hesitation. The jewel reflected the essence of who he was. Kale realized that the first trial was not about reaching the jewel, but understanding himself. He had been tested on his honesty, his self-awareness, and his intentions. He touched the crystal lightly, and it dissolved into a warm light that enveloped him. A calm voice echoed, "You have passed the first trial. Courage and truth guide your steps." The labyrinth shifted again, and a new challenge appeared. A simulation of the treacherous landscapes of Solara's homeworld. Mountains of sharp crystal, rivers of molten energy, and storms of swirling particles threatened every step. This trial tested bravery, resourcefulness, and calmness under pressure. Kale could feel the energy pressing against him, and yet he did not hesitate. He moved carefully, leaping over molten streams and ducking under falling crystals. He felt exhaustion, but he also felt determination. At one point, the ground opened beneath him, revealing a pit of swirling energy. Kale caught himself on a narrow ledge, gripping the edge with every ounce of strength. He whispered, "I will not fail. I must reach her, not for myself, but for the truth I have offered." Finally, after what felt like hours, Kale reached a high plateau where a bridge of glowing light connected him to the next chamber. The bridge tested his balance and focus, and he moved steadily, reminding himself of Solara's expectations. This was a trial of courage and composure. He reached the end, his legs trembling but his heart steady. The chamber ahead opened to a quiet garden, unlike any he had seen. Plants shimmered with silver light, and streams reflected stars even though the ceiling above was opaque. Here the final challenge awaited. In the garden, a young alien child approached him. The child appeared frightened, holding a small creature that seemed weak and unwell. Kale realized that the child needed help. The trial was no longer about intellect or bravery. It was about empathy. Kale knelt gently and spoke softly to the child. "I will help. We will take care of this creature together." He examined the small alien animal, adjusting its bandages and soothing it with careful words. The child watched him with growing trust. Kale realized that the labyrinth was testing whether he could extend care and compassion beyond himself. Hours passed as he tended to the creature, speaking gently to the child and ensuring its safety. The labyrinth's whispers changed again, now speaking encouragement. Kindness is strength. Compassion is courage. Truth is love. Kale felt warmth in his chest. He understood that these qualities, so simple and human, were rare even among advanced beings. Finally, the child smiled and nodded. The creature perked up, seeming healthy and lively. The garden shimmered and a doorway appeared, bathed in golden light. Kale stepped through it, feeling a mixture of relief and triumph. He found himself in a quiet chamber where Solara awaited. Her eyes shone with curiosity and something else, approval. Kale bowed deeply, exhausted but proud. "You have completed the trials," Solara said. Her voice was softer now, almost gentle. "You have shown honesty, courage, and compassion. These are the qualities I value most, Kale. Few beings, human or alien, possess them in balance." Kale's heart raced. "Your Majesty, I did my best to remain true to myself." Solara approached, studying him closely. "Your best is good, Kale, but there is one final step. To stand beside me, you must understand not only your strengths but also your weaknesses. You must accept that fear, doubt, and failure are parts of every journey. Can you do this?" Kale nodded without hesitation. "Yes, I accept that I am human with flaws and fears, but I will strive to act with truth, courage, and compassion always." Solara's expression softened, a rare smile forming on her lips. "Then you have proven yourself worthy. You have shown that humanity is capable of qualities beyond what many believe. You have bridged the gap between our worlds through heart and mind, not force. This is remarkable, Kale. Kale felt a swell of pride but also humility. He had survived trials meant to test not just skill, but the essence of being. He realized that this journey had changed him, making him more aware of his strengths, his values, and the truth of his intentions. As they left the chamber, Solara walked beside him, silent for a moment. The garden glowed around them, casting soft reflections on her elegant features. Kyle felt a connection forming, delicate but powerful. "Your trials were not meant to discourage you," Solara finally said. "They were meant to reveal your heart. Few beings have succeeded as you have. You have shown me that the human spirit is capable of greatness beyond what I expected." Kale smiled, feeling a warmth he had not expected. "I did not seek to impress your majesty. I sought only to be honest, to show the truth of my heart." Solara looked at him with something close to admiration. "Honesty, courage, compassion. These are rare, Kale, and yet you have them in balance. Perhaps this is why your words yesterday were not foolish. Perhaps they were brave. And perhaps they were wise." Kale felt his heart swell. For the first time, he sensed that the impossible might be within reach. The alien queen, whose presence had seemed untouchable, now viewed him not as a mere human but as a being capable of standing beside her. As the day ended, Kyle returned to his ship. He looked out at the alien horizon glowing under twin suns. The trials had tested him, shaped him, and proven him in ways he could never have imagined. He felt a quiet confidence that tomorrow and the days after could bring the next step of his journey, the bond with Solara that began with a whispered desire. And in the quiet of the night, as the stars shimmered across the sky, Kale whispered again, softly but firmly, "I will be worthy. I will honor her trust. I will remain true to my heart." The next morning, Kale awoke to the soft light of Solara's palace gardens. The air was rich with the scent of alien flowers, and the soft hum of distant waterfalls added a calm rhythm to the atmosphere. Today, he knew, was not another trial. Today was the beginning of understanding, the real challenge of connecting across worlds. He stepped outside, letting the warm breeze brush his face. Solara was already there, walking slowly along a path lined with glowing plants. Her presence filled the space not just with authority but with a quiet curiosity. Kyle felt both nervous and excited. He had completed the labyrinth trials, proving his honesty, courage, and compassion, but now he had to prove himself in ways no trial could measure, through dialogue, understanding, and respect. Solara approached him, her steps silent on the soft moss beneath them. "Kyle," she said, her voice gentle yet commanding attention. "The labyrinth revealed much about your heart, but now, we must see if your mind and your spirit can connect with mine. Tell me, what do humans value most?" Kale thought for a moment. He had traveled among humans, observed their lives, and reflected on their choices. "We value connection, Your Majesty," he replied finally. "Family, trust, loyalty, and love. We build our lives around these bonds. Even when we face fear, danger, or uncertainty, these values guide us." Solara's eyes glimmered as though she had expected this answer, yet was pleased to hear it. "Interesting," she said softly. "Your people are far from my world, yet they hold principles that resonate even with me. And what of ambition and power? Do they not tempt you?" Kale shook his head. "Ambition without purpose can be dangerous. Power can corrupt if not guided by responsibility and empathy. I seek to act with integrity, not for glory, but to do what is right." Solara smiled faintly. "You speak wisely, Kyle. Many beings claim such understanding, but few live by it." She gestured to a small pavilion surrounded by sparkling pools. "Come, let us walk." Words are best understood in action as well as thought. As they walked, Kale noticed details he had not before. The way Solara observed the plants, gently touching a leaf without damaging it. The care she showed to a small bird perched on a nearby branch. The way her gaze softened as she watched a child play in the garden. He realized that she was not just a ruler, but a being deeply connected to the life around her. "You have a rare gift," Kale said cautiously. "Not many rulers take the time to connect with their world in such ways. It makes you admirable." Solara's eyes met his, and for a moment the weight of her authority seemed to fade, replaced by a simple, human-like curiosity. "Admirable? I am not certain I deserve that word. Leadership often isolates me. Many see only the crown, the power, the empire. Few see the heart behind it. You seem to understand." Kale felt a warmth rise within him. He had not meant to flatter her, only to speak honestly. I see you as you are, not only as a queen. I see the choices you make, the responsibility you carry, and the courage it takes. I respect you deeply. Solara paused, watching him carefully. Respect is rare, Kale, and yet you do not ask for anything in return. You do not seek favor or influence. You speak from the heart. They reached a bridge over a crystal-clear stream where the water reflected the twin suns above. Kale hesitated for a moment, aware of the intimacy of the space. Solara seemed to notice, yet did not move away. She leaned lightly on the railing, her gaze fixed on the water. Tell me about your home, Kale, she said finally. The world you come from, the humans who raised you, the places you have traveled. Kyle smiled. I come from a planet called Earth. It is small compared to yours, but it is full of life and stories. People work hard, care for their families, and strive to make the world better. We have wars and challenges, but we also have hope. We believe in love, courage, and the possibility of change. Those are the things that guide us even when the world seems dark. Solara listened quietly, her expression thoughtful. Hope, courage, love. Humans value what many in my empire have long forgotten. Perhaps this is why I find your presence intriguing. You bring a perspective that is new yet familiar in a way I cannot ignore. Kyle felt his heart beat faster. He realized that for the first time, he was speaking to someone who might truly understand him, not just as a human, but as a being striving to act with integrity in a vast universe. Your Majesty, he said softly, I do not claim to know everything. I do not even claim to be perfect. But I can promise honesty, respect, and effort, and I hope that is enough to build understanding between us. Solara studied him for a long moment, her eyes deep and unreadable. Then slowly she nodded. Perhaps it is. Understanding is the foundation of trust. Trust leads to partnership, and partnership can lead to something greater. Kale felt a surge of hope. The words were careful, diplomatic, yet they carried warmth. An acknowledgement that his presence mattered to her beyond protocol or duty. They continued walking, sharing stories of their lives, their worlds, and their dreams. Kale spoke of human achievements, inventions, and tales of bravery. Solara spoke of her empire, the challenges of leadership, and her personal fears, loneliness, the weight of decisions, and the constant scrutiny of her people. Kale listened with genuine interest, asking questions and offering insights. He did not shy from honesty, even when discussing his own fears and doubts. He spoke of moments when he felt overwhelmed, of times when he questioned his path, and of his desire to act with purpose. Solara's gaze softened. Few humans speak with such clarity and humility. You share your fears, yet not your weakness. You acknowledge the unknown, yet act with courage. This is admirable. Hours passed, and the suns began to set, casting a golden glow over the gardens. The water reflected the changing colors, and the gentle hum of alien insects filled the air. Kale and Solara paused at the edge of a cliff that overlooked the sprawling city below. Lights twinkling like stars fallen to the ground. Kyle, Solara said softly, you have completed the trials and proven your heart. You have spoken with honesty, courage, and compassion. And now, you have begun to show understanding, the ability to bridge worlds with words and presence. These qualities are rare even among my people. Kyle bowed slightly, feeling a mix of pride and humility. Your Majesty, I do not seek to impress, only to be true. I hope my actions and words honor both your world and my own. Solara's smile deepened, a rare warmth touching her features. They do. You have shown that humans are capable of greatness in ways many beings underestimate. And perhaps you have also shown me something I had forgotten, the power of connection, of trust and of openness to another being's heart. Kale felt a quiet joy, realizing that the bond forming between them was not just admiration, but mutual respect and understanding. He felt a spark of hope that the whispered words from days before, his desire to marry her, were not just foolish dreams, but seeds of a possibility that could grow into something extraordinary. As the night deepened, Solara turned to him, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Kyle, you have walked a long path not only through the labyrinth but through my world. Your presence here matters. Your heart matters. And perhaps your desire, spoken so boldly, is not as impossible as it first seemed. Kyle's breath caught. For the first time, he sensed that the distance between human and queen, between worlds and hearts, could be crossed. not with power or force, but with truth, courage, and connection. I am honored, Your Majesty, he said softly. I only wish to continue to earn your trust and understanding every day. If you allow me. Solara's gaze held his for a long moment, and then she spoke, her voice low but sincere. Kale, your words, your heart, and your presence, they have begun to show me that humans, though small in the galaxy, carry a spirit capable of great courage and deep understanding. You have intrigued me, and perhaps you have given me hope that connection can bridge even the widest divides. Kale's heart swelled. He realized that this was a moment he would remember for the rest of his life. A moment when two beings from different worlds began to understand each other, not as ruler and subject, but as equals guided by honesty, courage, and compassion. And as the stars sparkled overhead, Kale whispered to himself, I will continue to be worthy. I will continue to honor her trust. And I will continue to remain true to my heart. The bond had begun. The journey was far from over, but Kale now understood that the greatest challenge and the greatest reward was not simply surviving trials, but connecting across worlds with honesty, respect, and understanding. And somewhere deep inside he knew that Solara felt it too. The grand hall of Solara's palace was unlike anything Kale had ever seen. Towering crystal pillars reflected the twin suns of the planet, casting prismatic light across the polished floor. Alien delegates from across the galaxy had gathered, their forms shimmering in intricate attire. Despite the grandeur, Kale felt a quiet determination settle in his chest. Today would reveal the culmination of his journey, the moment when words, trials, and trust would meet destiny. Solara sat upon her throne, regal as always, yet her posture seemed more relaxed than Kale had ever seen. She observed the assembly with a calm authority, then turned her piercing gaze toward him. The room fell silent as Kale stepped forward, his heart steady despite the thousands of eyes upon him. You have completed every trial, Solara announced to the assembly. Her voice carried effortlessly, commanding attention without raising its tone. You have shown courage, compassion, and honesty, and now, there remains one question. Kyle straightened, feeling the weight of the moment. Every trial, every conversation, every moment spent in her presence had led to this. He reminded himself of his own words, the whisper that had begun this journey. I wish to marry her. The memory filled him with courage. Solara continued, addressing the assembly but speaking as if only Kale could hear. The human before me has shown qualities rare, even among the most advanced beings in the galaxy. Integrity, empathy, bravery, these are the marks of a heart worthy of trust. And perhaps, love. Kale's chest tightened. The word hung in the air like a fragile promise. He had hoped, prayed even, that Solara might see beyond the boundaries of race, species, and tradition to the truth of his intentions. And now it seemed she had. She rose from her throne and descended the steps gracefully. Her eyes locked onto his, unflinching. Kyle, you have faced the labyrinth and the trials not only with skill but with honesty. You have shared your thoughts, your fears, and your heart without hesitation. Few beings would dare to speak as you did, let alone live in accordance with such courage. Kyle bowed slightly, not out of fear, but out of respect. Your Majesty, I have only sought to be true, to honor your trust, your guidance, and the bond we have begun to form. I speak from the heart, and I hope my actions have shown you my intentions are genuine. Solara regarded him silently for a long moment, the assembly holding its collective breath. Then she smiled, a smile that seemed to brighten the room, warm and radiant. Kyle, your words and deeds have proven what many thought impossible, that a human small in body and origin can stand equal to the ruler of a galaxy-spanning empire. You have shown me courage, wisdom, and above all, heart. The words sent a ripple through Kale's chest, a mixture of joy, relief, and awe. He could hardly believe what he was hearing. The alien queen, Solara, who had seemed untouchable, who had inspired awe and fear in countless beings, was now speaking to him with admiration and sincerity. And now, Solara said, stepping closer, her gaze soft yet unwavering, I accept your desire. I accept the courage you have shown in speaking your heart, Kale. I accept you. The hall erupted in murmurs, not of disbelief but of awe. Delegates whispered to one another, marveling at the union of courage and wisdom, human and alien, heart and mind. Kale felt his knees weaken, but Solara extended her hand to steady him. Her touch was gentle, firm, and entirely grounding. Kale took a deep breath and raised his eyes to hers. Your Majesty, I am honored beyond words. I will dedicate myself to your guidance, your people, and the trust you have shown me. I will be worthy of this acceptance. Solara's eyes glimmered. I do not expect perfection, Kyle. Only truth, courage, and respect. With these, we can shape not only our lives, but the future of both our worlds. The assembly fell silent again, this time in reverence. The joining of human and alien queen was unprecedented, but it symbolized something far greater than politics or diplomacy. It was proof that honesty, courage, and heart could bridge even the greatest divides. Kale felt a sense of calm wash over him. The trials, the labyrinth, the conversations, and the quiet moments in her garden, all had led to this. He realized that the journey was not about winning approval, but about remaining true to himself. In doing so, he had earned Solara's trust, respect, and acceptance. Solara turned to face the assembly. Let this day be remembered, she declared, as proof that courage and integrity can surpass expectation, that understanding and respect can unite even the most different of beings, and that love, born from truth and trust, can flourish across worlds. The delegates bowed, some silently, some with audible respect. Kale felt Solara's hand on his shoulder, steady and reassuring. He had never imagined he would stand here, not just as a representative of humanity, but as someone recognized by the ruler of a great alien empire for who he truly was. As the ceremony concluded, Solara guided Kale to a balcony overlooking the city. Twin moons rose in the alien sky, casting soft light across crystal towers and sparkling rivers. The city seemed alive with possibilities, a reflection of the bond now forming between them. Kyle, Solara said softly, you have shown me that humans are capable of courage and understanding far beyond expectation. And perhaps you have reminded me of something I had nearly forgotten. That connection, heart, and trust are the foundation of true strength. Kale smiled, feeling a warmth he could not describe. Your Majesty, I only sought to be honest and true. You have shown me that even across worlds, hearts can meet, understand, and respect one another. That is more than I ever hoped for. Solara's smile deepened. Then let us move forward, Kale. Not as ruler and subject, but as partners. Our worlds may be different, yet our hearts can find common ground. Together we may shape a future worthy of both humanity and my empire. Kale nodded, understanding fully the weight of her words. This was not just about their bond, but about the possibilities it represented for countless lives across the stars. He felt hope, determination, and a deep sense of purpose. As they stood together, hand in hand, the stars above seemed to shine brighter. Kale knew that their journey was just beginning, but he was ready. For the first time in his life, he felt fully seen, fully trusted, and fully capable of rising to the challenge of standing beside someone as extraordinary as Solara. Your Majesty, he said quietly, I promise to honor this trust every day, to act with integrity, courage, and heart, and to remain worthy of the bond we share. Solara's gaze held his, steady and unwavering. I believe you, Kale, and that belief is the foundation upon which we will build the future. The wind swept softly across the balcony, carrying with it the scent of alien flowers and the faint hum of distant waters. Kale felt a calm certainty settle over him. He had spoken his heart, faced trials that tested every part of him, and earned the trust of one of the greatest beings in the galaxy. And now, standing beside her, he realized that the impossible could indeed be possible. The city below twinkled in celebration, the galaxy watching with quiet awe. A human and the alien queen, united not by duty or politics, but by courage, respect, and the honesty of their hearts, had shown the universe what could be achieved when beings dared to act with integrity and truth. Kale squeezed her hand gently, feeling the warmth and strength in her grasp. Together, he whispered, we will face whatever comes, and we will honor this bond with every choice we make. Solara nodded, her eyes shining with quiet pride. Yes, Kale, together. And as the twin moons rose higher, casting their glow over the palace and the city, Kale understood that he had not only found acceptance, but had also sparked a connection that would echo across worlds, proving that even a single human heart could inspire trust, courage, and change across the stars. The journey that began with a whisper had reached a new dawn, a dawn where truth, Bravery and love could unite not just two beings, but entire worlds.